Hello and welcome to the Build with Bear workshop. My name is Pat Bear. I'm here to build a couple model kits. I'm also here to hang out with all of you. And I'm going to start things off by throwing the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the Tier 2 blue emote in chat. If you are currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. If you are not yet a subscriber, you can say hi or use other people's emotes. Or you want to be a lurker and you don't want to say anything at all, you can just lurk. You don't have to say anything. It's also okay. Vash is here. Welcome, Vash. Happy to have you here on this fine Monday evening. It took me a second there. That's not great. That's a bad start to the stream where I go, so why can't I remember what day it is? Aristofan is here as well. Welcome, Aristofan. Happy to have you here. Hey, reminder, it's September. We are in the midst of September. And if you want to save some money, what happened here? There you go. Nightbot. Jeez. For now until October 1st, 25% off new subscriptions. Reminder, don't use Twitch's app. Sign up via the web. Otherwise, you're going to get charged more than you should. And I don't see that. They get that. So sign up if you want to and save some money. I would appreciate it. And then eventually, there's going to be better discounts on some other things. But that's not until like Thursday, I want to say. Let me bring this up. Thursday, yeah. September 12th through the 17th, you can get more. I get more cheers for your cheers. If you do 300 plus cheer, I get a bonus. Let me know in chat if my audio is okay, because it was a little low randomly, even though I didn't change anything since Saturday's stream. Literally, did not open OBS until this afternoon since Saturday night. So I don't know. But if it's a little light on the audio, let me know. Thumbs up, says Aristofan, or thumbs up, says Aristofan. Thumbs. Aristofan's having one. I understand. I've been there. You got it eventually. Lord Crashington says, summer has come and passed. The innocent can never last. Wake me up when September ends. 62 months. Thank you so much. Let's throw the Bear Cave Lego site. Tier 2 Blue Mountain chat. Thank Lord Crashington for the 62 months. That's a whole lot of months. That's years. That's just a lot. So let's throw some emotes in there. Fan, I'm glad you eventually got there. I'm glad to see that. Tonight's agenda: the Zaku 3 high grade needs to be finished. We need to build the connecting. We need to connect the waist and the chest. With some tubing pieces, and then build a gun, and then we're done with that. And then we'll move on to the full armor 7th Gundam, which is from a magazine. Legitimately, it's from a magazine series. There was a MSV is like a series that ran in Gundam magazines where they were telling stories with photos of the model kits. And that's where the full armor 7th Gundam comes from. Because I was like, what series is this from? Like, I know the 7th Gundam, but I don't know the full armor version. And I was like, oh, originally an MSV. I was like, okay, we've done this before, where we've built a fucking model kit that came from a magazine and then later was in one video game. This happened again. Vash just subscribed to Tier 1. That's 4 months. Thank you so much, Vash. Let's also throw the Bear Cave Lego site. Tier 2 blue emote, I should say, in the chat. And thank Vash. That's awesome. Appreciate you. Thank you for the subscription. Means a lot. Bear Cave Lego site. Tier 2 blue emote in the chat. And let's take this opportunity to go to the overhead. As you can see, here is our Zaku. Our Zaku 3. The one of 2 Zaku 3 model kits in existence. This is the high grade. There was a non-grade in the 90s. That I do not believe I've ever seen. And then there is, because I'll say this, barring some weirdness, finding the 90s non-grade model kits are honestly very difficult. For whatever reason, the G Gundam kits you can still find the G Gundam non-grades, I think because they didn't make a lot of high grades of those kits, and a few of them, like, it's the only good way to get them until now they've started putting out, the premium kits. But if you wanted to build a Dragon Gundam, the high grade of the Dragon Gundam is impossible to find, the old one, so you would find the non-grade of it. And I think that's the only reason some of those are available at all. But the non-grades from the 90s are pretty rare. In US, you can find them in Japan, certainly. But in the United States, a little more difficult. So we got the Zaku 3, but this one is the high grade here. We completed the legs. I assembled this off stream, but I'm going to panel line it right now. And we'll just use the black on this. So we're just going to hit it a little bit. Not a lot of this is going to show anyway, but it does give a nice shine to it sometimes. So we do like to hit that there. I got some gaming news. We're going to talk about All Out, AEW's All Out. We'll get into that. But there's some stuff here. There's some gaming news that I wanted to get into very briefly. Okay, so if you own the original Oxenfree on itch.io, you need to download that as soon as possible. If you want to play it again, if you want to play your purchased copy, because some people, well, I have it in the store. I'm just going to download it if I ever think of it again, but I'm going to save space and I'm not going to download it. And I think that's reasonable and I think that's preferable. It is being removed from the itch.io store and you will not be able to re-download it. Now, in some stores like Steam perhaps, if a game gets delisted, you can still download it if you've already previously purchased it. You just can't purchase it again. New people can't purchase it. It goes like that. This is different. This is Night School Studio made this. They sent an basically Itch sent an email out saying like, hey, this is happening. And the email went to anybody that has purchased the game on Itch. Now, I should just make this abundantly clear. I do not know if this is the decision of Night School Studio or if this is from their parent company, Netflix, because they were purchased in 2021 by Netflix. So we do know that it's coming from the studio, but we don't know why. It is still, at time of this message, it is still on Steam and Epic. Even though it's a first-party Netflix game, the sequel, Oxenfree 2, Lost Signals, did come to multiple things. I don't know if it's a licensing agreement. I think it was self-published. There could be an instance where there was an issue with their original publisher. I don't know the specifics. I don't have an answer for you. I would say if you're going to remove it from the store and make it so that people that purchased it can't download it in the future, then you should supply codes for other websites, other storefronts like Epic or Steam. That's my personal opinion on that, saying that you have to download this within this month, you have to download it or you never get to play it again. Even if that's, actually, I shouldn't put this together. Even if that's technically correct, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel reasonable. So, let's see. Yeah, and you cannot get it new. And GameDeveloper.com was reporting on this. They have not received comment from either the studio or the company. It's a strange situation. Again, I do not have a clear-cut answer for you on why this would happen. It seems fine on consoles too. Yeah, Lord Christian, it literally just seems like Itch's version of Oxenfree is going away. And again, it was self-published. Yeah, so I don't know, because I thought maybe it was a publishing issue. Maybe they were having contractual things. Netflix didn't like the deal they had. But if it was self-published, the only thing I can think of is Netflix doesn't want it on a site they don't trust. That's the only thing I can think of, is someone at Netflix has an issue with Itch. That's literally all I can think of. I don't know. I don't have any answers for you. That is merely speculation on my part, trying to make sense of this situation. And that's one thing I could think of, but which again, to be abundantly clear, I have no evidence to support that. Itch has a weird license account issue that nobody else really has. Yeah, yeah, it could be that. I know that some members of the community, the larger gaming community, were upset that Oxenfree 2 came to a lot of platforms but didn't come to GOG. I don't think this is related to that. I think this is just a decision. But again, independent developers being purchased by other companies to work on those companies, being folded into their companies, does lead to these scenarios. This is not me saying like, and it's bad and it should never happen, because some of these studios certainly don't exist without funding in that regard. There are several reasons why a studio would go this route. One of them is because they were running low on funds. Sometimes a studio was built to make games to then eventually get bought, so that the people that did it can start over again and build up a new studio with money. That's certainly a thing. Often it is because studios that is their way to finally get healthcare for their employees, finally have money coming in and some stability. Or the creators of that company, the founders of that company, want to get out of the games business, move into something else, move into a cushy job in the parent company that is purchasing them. There's a variety of reasons for those things. And the thing to remember when in conversation about these things, because like Netflix in particular, but I should say this is a lot of companies in general. I am speaking specifically about Netflix because this is this situation. And also I have legitimate dealings with a division of Netflix, which I cannot get in super detailed about, but I can say that I had in the late 2010s, I had a lot of conversations with high-ranking people in one division of Netflix. Now, this is at 2017, 2018. Could that business have changed dramatically between then and now? Yes, certainly could have. We're talking 6 years ago, right? 5, 6 years ago, 7 years ago. It could have changed dramatically from what my experience was. But I will tell you that my experience was that the different departments within Netflix did not talk to one another. They were not encouraged to. They were not expected to. It was not easy for them to do it. That is the thing when you talk about corporations, big or small, that I think are important to remember is, like, when people say Sony, they're like, well, Sony owns that, so why couldn't this Sony talk to that Sony? Well, because they don't. That's not the culture. That's not what people are told to do. That's not easy to do. Somebody high up at Tokyo Disney has probably never spoken to a vice president at Toy Biz. Toy Biz, the people that bought Marvel. Not the other way around. That is the thing that people forget as well. The toy company bought Marvel, and then Disney bought Marvel. Disney bought Toy Biz. That is the thing that I think people forget a bunch. That is a quote-unquote fun fact. But anyway, somebody at Tokyo Disney is not talking to someone at Toy Biz. I'm guessing the people in charge of the biz dev, the DVD biz, were separate from streaming. So that probably started, and we can put it on streaming, was probably a division of Netflix that was the DVD business. And then as it became more successful, it spun off to its own thing. And then people stopped talking to one another. But I'm talking about like the people on the ground that are producing the comedy specials. Like Netflix presents this comedy special. Those people don't know what's going on in the documentary people. They don't know what's going on in the other live programming. The people that put together the Netflix deal for Raw, for WWE, most likely didn't even know that there's a document at first anyway. Now I'm sure they're aware, but they didn't have anything to say or do with the documentary about Vince McMahon that's coming out. because the documentary department has nothing to do with live sports, which is what the Raw is under. They're under that guise because that has been a big push in Netflix, and they spun up a whole division to deal with the live sports stuff. And that's where Raw kind of sits in, and wrestling in general sits in. But there are different departments with different goals and different budgets. As Netflix, there used to be a... Hey, I don't know if you knew this. There used to be a Netflix blog. There'd be a blog that would do recommendations and talk to people. It was like, I think, a staff of 5. And that was the only department that talked to every department at Netflix because they needed source stuff. They needed photos. They needed dates. They needed access to actors and promotional stuff. But yeah, the like promo team that worked there, that was a division that was the only division that talked to people, that talked to everyone that worked for the company. So like the people that made this, the people in Netflix games probably talked to some people that work for, like, they're like, okay, well, the game developers that we have, could they work on Netflix properties? Well, sure. Oh, wait, the Stranger Things game is made by this thing, and they went out and did their own deals for that, and this other group within Netflix handled this. So even though we have a games division, and you'd think in-house that when you hear Netflix has a games division, that they would be making all of the games based on Netflix or oversee those games of anything coming through Netflix. That would make sense. But that shit doesn't happen that way. Just because it makes sense doesn't mean it's what actually happens. And generally, often, synergy comes from someone very high up, generally. Making those deals, right? That generally comes very high. Because you think Shark Week, right? You would think that the host of Shark Week would be someone from a TBS or TNT show or a Warner Brothers Discovery property, right? No, last year it was John Cena. John Cena, who has nothing to do with TBS, TNT, Discovery, any of those channels. Nothing to do with Warner Brothers other than being in some DC movies, right? He's been in some DC movies. That's it. Why? Well, because fucking John Cena's a big name, and he agreed to do it for money. So it's John Cena's thing. Would it make more sense for it to be, I don't know, if you're going to book a professional wrestler? Adam Copeland, Edge, Sting. I don't think it should be Sting, but an AEW wrestler. Wouldn't that synergistically make more sense? Well, but that's not, the department there doesn't care about being synergizing unless someone well above them on a bigger pay grade says, hey, we should have someone from AEW host this thing on Shark Week. Instead, they had professional wrestler Shark Boy show up for a pre-show thing for AEW. That was the synergy. And that was probably AEW and not Warner Brothers being like, hey, can we get a wrestler who's shark themed to show up? And they're like, well, there's one and he's somewhat famous. So we'll do that. It's all very silly. Synergy, shit like that. Those things that like make sense are because we're trying to make sense of things that don't. They're nonsensical. Sometimes companies are built out in multiple directions. Sometimes there's competition between departments, so you don't even get anything like that, right? I worked for a website briefly for 2 months. I did content as a contractor for a website that I will not name. I have named it previously. I will not name it now. I was in the New York office, and guess what? You know who didn't like the New York office? The LA office. The LA office did not like the New York office because the New York office was getting things that the LA office wanted. like partnerships and brand deals, and they were doing something else, and and the West Coast was in the trenches, so they didn't like the New York office. Same company, same shit. It was just like, no, we don't like them. It's like, okay, all right, well, that sucks because we all work for the same company and we're closer on the line on a bunch of things. It would be nice if you, I don't know, weren't dicks. Some of them were very kind and very nice and very helpful, but some of them were fucking dicks. All right, I think I put this on wrong because it is not connecting properly. I think this piece is not in line properly with this part of the waist, so I am going to try to pop it off here because when I went to put the front in, it didn't work, so I think this is not in right. So I'm going to try to pop this apart here. Oops, that flew too far. Okay, I think this is on wrong. So I'm going to get this on right. And both of these parts came off as I knew they would, because why wouldn't they come off? They're on very strangely. Probably tougher than it seems most of the time, especially when you have to do deals with other groups within the same company. Yep, totally. Because yeah, people be like, well, why wasn't this thing in there? And why wasn't this company, like, why don't they do this thing? Why wouldn't they do that? And it's just like, well, because a lot of people would have to want to. All right, so let's see if I can get this lined in properly. I think it should go under this here. That's my guess. Okay, now I think I'm doing this correctly. We'll find out, but I think I did this better this time than I did previously, which means then this can connect here. So then we can get the hoses connected and get this whole thing together. Yes, a lot of times it's just way easier to bring in outside contractors because you already have that set up than to do inner jobs. I'm not going to put these back on. These are a pain in the ass. If I was going to display this, I would liquid cement these back on, but they are a fucking pain in the ass, and I don't want to deal with it. Let's see. Let's do bad news in gaming, then we'll go to good news in gaming. There have been more layoffs for Embracer. You might have thought that Embracer would be done laying people off, but it turns out there have been more layoffs. We do not know how many at Lost Boys Interactive, which is a studio owned by Embracer. These are apparently quote-unquote redundancies. Lost Boy Interactive has made the difficult decision, this is their statement, the difficult decision to reduce our overall headcount in accordance with local laws and consultation process. As a remote-first company, this impacts employees across several states. Basically, it sounds like they laid off as many people as they could, considering what states some of their employees were in, which is hooray! They were under Gearbox. Actually, this is interesting. They were actually acquired by Gearbox, and they came along with the ride. And then when Gearbox got bought out of Embracer, they were not bought out by Embracer there. So Lost Boys didn't go with Embracer. So they were embraced because Gearbox was embraced. That's great. They're a support studio. They worked on Tiny Tina's Wonderland. And they also helped out with Diablo 4. And apparently at some point, I think they helped with the porting process of PUBG. So they are a for-hire group. We don't know what they were working on or what they are working on for Embracer at this time. But yeah, they laid more people off. We don't know how many. They laid off people in January, which was part of the larger layoffs. In good news, a French gaming studio named Spiders were threatening to fucking strike. They made the game Greedfall 2. They were having low wages and instability at the studio is what they were coming to. But basically, they threatened to walk and are getting better working conditions because of that. And we will say that the studio, Spiders, said, hey, we, Just Another Spicy, you're right, it's a good name. The allegations that we have poor working conditions is false and defamatory. But then they did negotiate new pay raises and other proven quality of life policies for employees that were demanding it. So they're not going to admit that things were bad, but now things are better than they were, which, again, to them was not bad, and they won't say it was. And that's defamatory if you say so. They've raised the minimum salary of the company by 11% starting in September, which is retroactive back to April, which is nice and good. Yeah, so this is a union. This was a union, I should definitely say. And then they have a, the things just look good. Sounds good. And apparently they're still very unhappy with the larger union, the Video Game Workers Union, and there's statements that were made by that. Apparently they're, we don't know. I am not an expert in French libel laws, so there may be some merit to that, but we won't, I don't know. I do not have an answer for you on that, if there is merit to their complaints or not about it being defamatory, because I am not a legal expert in French libel law, despite evidence to the contrary. But yeah, seems good. I am going to take a photo of this kit built here before we build the gun and the beam saber, because I'm going to use a different hand for the gun. But these hands will work great for what is a very weird part of this model kit before we start getting into All Out and talking about the results of All Out. So, you know how, like, when you think about, like, a jetpack and then it's like the shoulder straps, and how sometimes people have, like, you envision a jetpack, there's, like, the controllers are in your hand, that kind of a thing. This kit has that for, I guess, this backpack. It's got grabby hands. Its waist, the skirt has grabby arms in it. I don't know why, but it does. And so you can put these like this. And I guess these are supposed to be like controlled. I don't even think the hands really reach well for this, but it does do it. Oops. And literally part of the hand plate popped off in doing it. But yeah, you can do this. Why would you do this? I don't know, but you can. Does it actually work? Kind of. I can get one done. But then I end up twisting it to get the other. All right, we'll do it like that. Kind of works. It's not good, but it kind of works. We'll take a photo here of this, and then we'll build a gun while I talk about AW. All right. Oop. Then these go back down. Skirt goes down. And then I'm going to have to do a new hand for the gun when it's gun time. Yes, jack in. Okay, so AEW All Out was Saturday night. I watched a little bit of the pay-per-view before streaming on Saturday. Thanks for everybody that came out on Saturday. We had a good turnout. Always nice. And then I finished it up Saturday night and then into Sunday and watched it, at my leisure. I knew the results of the matches, but I just went back in and watched when I wanted to watch, because that's what I can do. I should say here that I had a good time. I had a good time with the old with the old All Out. We'll go through it now. Pre-show, The Acclaimed, which was Anthony Bowens and Max Caster with Daddy Ass on at ringside, defeated the Iron Savages, Bronson and Boulder, with Jack Jameson via pinfall. All of the matches, all 4 matches in the pre-show were trios matches, except for this one, and it was very funny because Jack Jameson claimed that Daddy Ass didn't want to wrestle, and that's why it wasn't a trios, because he was scared of Jack Jameson. This match was nothing. It was, I guess, just to give the Acclaimed a win because they haven't been winning because for storyline stuff. Well, they had a pretty big win not too long ago. But whatever. I think it was just that. It was to get them on the card. It was fine because the Iron Savages, who used to be known many years ago as Bear Country, they have not been on a pay-per-view before. This is their first pay-per-view appearance, as far as I can tell, even pre-show. And a unique thing happened here. The big stories from All Out 2024 are going to be the last 2 matches on the show and the incident that happened there, and perhaps a little bit about the first match on the main event. Maybe that makes some news. But it shouldn't be overlooked that a thing happened in this first match that has never happened before in AEW. 2 queer men wrestled each other on AEW. 2 out queer men wrestled. There may be people that are bisexual or pansexual or gay within AEW that are not out. And of course, it is their decision on that. So we can't speak on that. But we can speak on the fact that Bronson, Bear Bronson, and is bisexual, and Anthony Bowens is gay, and the 2 of them wrestled each other, and that's the first time on a pay-per-view. They wrestled each other probably several times in various forms, but this is on a pay-per-view. This is the first time AEW had a pay-per-view where 2 queer men wrestled each other, and that's pretty fucking cool. Then we had Hologram, Sammy Guevara, and Dustin Rhodes, which feels like hitting the random button. They also wrestled at Collision. They defeated the Premier Athletes, which is Tony Nese, Ari Daivari, I should say. It's Ari or Aria Daivari, depending on where he wrestled. And Josh Woods, with Smart Mark Sterling at ringside, getting involved, getting beat up. Just getting fucking clobbered on the outside. Hologram is fucking cool as hell. That is a cool wrestler and a fun gimmick. Sammy Guevara, I do not enjoy as a person or a wrestler. I would like I would like to not see him. It is fun that Dustin Reynolds, formerly known as Gold Dust, it is very fun that Dustin Reynolds has 2 Ring of Honor championships right now. That is just a weird thing. And it's fun. And this match was fun. And that's not the most else to say. Bang Bang Gang, Austin Gunn, Colton Gunn, Juice Robinson defeated the Dark Order, Evil Uno, Alex Reynolds, and John Silver via pinfall. This was a weird thing. Why did this match happen? I can't tell you why any of these matches happened other than, just getting people on the card. I think it is time for the Bang Bang Gang, or for Austin Gunn and Colton Gunn, the Guns. I think it is time for them to just be a tag team, and for our boy Juice to get into the singles stuff, maybe a mid-card belt. I think it's long overdue. Mainly because, I'll say this. Hey, our boy Juice Robinson doesn't wear gear never. When they trio, he never wears gear that matches the Guns, and I want matching gear from wrestlers. I should say here, a disappointment with this kit. This katana, this beam katana, is all one color because it's all one piece of plastic, whereas the photo over here. Oops, nope, that's not what I want. Wrong one. Hold on. Okay. It's Zaku 3. That's what I want. This photo, this beam looks like it's looks way more blue, like it's an actual beam or plastic, clear plastic, and it's not clear plastic, and that's annoying to me. I don't like that. False advertising. Dark Order being on a pay-per-view, even if pre-show, I'm happy about that. Good for them. Let's see, what else? Undisputed Kingdom, Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, Roderick Strong defeated the Beast Mortos and Shane Taylor Promotions, Shane Taylor and Lee Moriarty, and also the trio of Action Andretti and Top Flight, Dante Martin and Darius Martin. Just fucking put Action Andretti, call all three of them Top Flight. It's weird to not call all of them Top Flight and just call Top Flight and their friend, or come up with a name for their trios. It's weird. This match had some good bits of business in it. Beast Mortos can move pretty fucking great for a big man. It is consistently pretty goddamn wild what he's able to do. He's also the best base in the business for doing lucha shit off of. And he did well in that match, and it was fun. And then I guess Roddy Strong wants to go after Hook's belt, which is weird for him to want that belt, but he apparently does want to go after that belt. And sure. Main card, MJF defeated Daniel Garcia by pinfall. He cheated with a low blow. He won. And then after the match, Daniel Garcia, MJF looked like he wanted to make peace. Like, congratulations on a good match. And then was going to turn and low blow Daniel Garcia, but Daniel Garcia low blowed him first. And then Daniel Garcia beat the shit out of MJF for quite some time. MJF is apparently taking some time off from wrestling. And if you're like, well, then why the fuck didn't Daniel Garcia just beat him? And there are two reasons for that. In my opinion, my excellent analysis says, one, MJF lost a match at He just lost a match at All In, and MJF was not going to lose two matches in two pay-per-view matches back to back. That's just not going to happen. That's my opinion on that. And the second reason I think is reportedly Daniel Garcia has not signed a renewed contract with AEW, and my thinking is they just didn't. They were like, well, he lost that way, and then if he doesn't resign, that's fine. If he does resign, he got his revenge. This makes everybody happy. It's fucking politics. Should Daniel Garcia have beaten MJF? Probably. But also, I am in the opinion that AEW does not think they have to they think they can just take their fucking time with MJF, or sorry, with Danny Garcia. And they do not seem to be stressed at all about pushing him to the moon or pushing him at all. They seem very comfortable with just taking their time, which I think is a mistake. The Young Bucks, Matthew Jackson, Nicholas Jackson, defeated the Blackpool Combat Club, represented by Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta, for the tag titles via pinfall. Of course they did. Of course they won. It would be weird if they hadn't won, because there was no real build to that. And also, apparently, one of the Jacksons got hurt on Friday and was working injured, which has a little bit to do why I think this match was not great and was just good. It did not need to be almost 16 minutes. It could have been shorter. In my opinion, it was a little too long, but it was still good. Will Ospreay defeated Pac to retain the AEW International Championship. Look, he just won that belt. He was going to win it. This was one of the best matches of the night. It is in my top 3 matches of the evening, along with MJF versus Daniel Garcia and one other match. It was just fucking excellent. Hey, Pac and Will Ospreay, good goddamn wrestlers. We're done with this kid. Beam Saber also not a clear colored beam there dissatisfying. So let's take a photo of this because we have now finished this here. We got our our gun with a blade on it. It's always fun. Another thing there. We'll take a photo of this, and then we'll start working on our next kit. Chris Statlander with Stokely Hathaway defeated Willow Nightingale in via submission of all things in a Chicago street fight. This originally was scheduled to be for the CMLL Women's Championship. That it was not, and they used the reason because they did not want to sanction a street fight. My assumption is that they knew they wanted to do this match at the pay-per-view, and they realized that they wanted Chris Statlander to win because they wanted Willow Nightingale to win in All In. And my gut tells me Chris was supposed to win the tag match at All In, and then Willow was going to win it All Out. And they reversed that. But CMLL probably didn't want someone they don't know and have never been in contact with the belt. So they made it a non-title match, which works out. And again, it's politics. All this shit happens. But it was still a good match. I still enjoyed it. It is one of my 3 favorite matches on the card. Okada defeated Mark Briscoe, Orange Cassidy, and Takeshita to retain his AEW Continental Championship. I am disappointed in this match because no belts changed hands on this pay-per-view. Spoiler. This kit was fun. This was a fun build. It was a weird build. I think this kit looks great. I am glad I'm done with it, and we're moving on to the next thing. But I did enjoy that kit. We're now going to move on over to the Full Armor 7th Gundam. See right here. Get those pieces together. This is a main Gundam. As you can tell by the coloring. 2009 parts here. B, A, B, C. We have one piece that fell out there. Just getting this together here. D. Lots of polycaps on this one. Unfortunately, a bunch of stickers because this is this kit started out as a 7th Gundam and then they added the armor parts. So a lot of color correcting stickers on this thing. Not my favorite, but we do what we gotta do. Anyway, like I said, no belt changes the hand. I wanted Takeshita to pin Mark or Orange. Instead, Takeshita just, I thought putting the belt on Takeshita would be cool. And then you could build to Okada versus Takeshita. We didn't get that. It was a fine match. Mercedes Moné retained the AEW TBS Championship against Hikaru Shida in a match that was disappointing. There is the belief that perhaps Mercedes actually didn't suffer a concussion, but did get her clock cleaned and was a little out of sorts. I don't know. I don't know what happened here. I am not ready, as some people are, to say that Mercedes is washed. I just think that this matchup was not the fight that people were hoping for because of Mercedes' respect and love for Joshi, that it would be a top tier match. My general feeling on it is that to get the matches that people really want out of Mercedes, she's got to drop this gimmick and go face, because current heel, the selling that people want Mercedes to do is babyface selling. That is like, in peril, I am a small person, I am flying all over the ring for this monster that I am fighting. That is not the I'm a confident but also a bit of a shit heel top heel in the division, which is what they're currently doing with the Mercedes. So I think it's going to be a while before we get that Mercedes. And it's a shame. Earlier in the pre-show, they brought out Sky Blue, Chicago's favorite wrestler, Sky Blue. and she had an altercation with Mariah May, which makes me think that Sky Blue is close to coming back. That would be a fine enough defense for Mariah May, I guess, first defense. I don't think that would be particularly incredible, but I think it would be fucking fine. Bryan Danielson defeated Jack Perry to retain the AEW World Championship. Bryan says when he loses that belt, it will be his last time in full working full time, and he will go to a part-time or retired state, but he'll stop being a full-time wrestler once he loses the belt. I did not at any point in time believe that Jack Perry was going to win that belt. We did have some interference by the Young Bucks, and he was then saved. The Young Bucks were run out by Claudio and Wheeler Yuta. And then after beating Jack Perry in a pretty damn good match, Bryan Danielson was celebrating with the Blackpool Combat Club, and also with them, seeing what was up, hanging out, was Pac, because Pac and Claudio and Yuta are trios champions together. So he was hanging out. The three of them wrestled with Bryan on Collision. There was a point where, so the match ends, everybody's celebrating. Christian Cage has an opportunity. He can cash in an opportunity to for a title shot. And they're like, oh no, is that what he's going to do? Is he going to have, because Luchasaurus is out there. Luchasaurus just attacked Jack Perry, and oh God, is that what this is? He attacked Bryan. Is that, are they going to do this? Are they going to try to steal one? Well, don't worry about it, because the member we have not seen for a little while of the Blackpool Combat Club is here. Yeah, okay, we're good. We're good, everybody. Everything's fine because Jon Moxley's here. Now, let's forget for a second that Jon Moxley has been doing a gimmick where he is taking reference from a movie, the true story of a gang in Australia that was racist, some neo-Nazi group in Australia, and that's what he's heavily inspiring this gimmick from. Don't worry about that. Everything's cool. Oh no, everything isn't cool. They beat the shit out of Bryan Danielson, and then in a nod to Terry Funk, they put a plastic bag over Bryan Danielson's head to try to suffocate him. And I am not. That's what happened. Wheeler Yuta apparently didn't know this was going to happen, and Pac was holding him back, and Wheeler Yuta did a very good job of emoting like, what the fuck? This is my, big brother figure. This is, my dad figure, my father figure. I betrayed my friends for this guy. What? And Marina Shafir was there as well. So, yeah, it looks like Pac and the rest of the Blackpool Combat Club and Marina Shafir have some new incarnation, which is not great. The audience did chant, "This is murder," which was a good chant. They were not wrong. It did seem like attempted murder. I guess Moxley's gonna... Moxley, so here's the thing. On the last 2 weeks, Moxley, when he came back with this new version of himself, he was calling out. He did want to talk with Darby Allin, and apparently Darby Allin has not communicated with him. And Darby does have a title shot against Bryan. I don't know what's happening. I don't know. They're trying to recruit him. I don't know why they turned. We don't know yet. We'll find out, I guess, on Wednesday why this shit happened the way it did. Anyway, that match was pretty good, and this beatdown was long and violent. Also should say that people have been set on fire with protocols. The Terry Funk spot that he did against Ric Flair with the bag was just used. Um, and people have been doing chair shots, gimmicked chairs to the head. And all of those things are things that Eddie Kingston has pitched and he did not get to do. Apparently, he wanted to do the bag bit with Jericho at some point. So this is 2.5 years ago. He was pitching these ideas and got rejected and did not get to do those things. And now other people get to do them, which sucks. Eddie Kingston's still recuperating from serious injury. We wish him well because Eddie Kingston fucking rules. But yeah, wild shit. Jeffrey Jericho needs. I mean, so some people are like, is All Out better than All In? Is All In better than All Out? All Out was emotionally more effective. All In was a bigger, better spectacle, but All In had Chris Jericho wrestling and also singing. And All Out didn't have Chris Jericho at all. So maybe All Out is the better show. Anyway, that's the main event on paper, because the actual main event was not a non-sanctioned fight. Throughout the course of the evening, there was security around Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland to keep them apart, and so there would not be collateral damage if they intended to fight one another before the match started. But they did keep their composure. It was a cage match, and again, unsanctioned, and it was fucking brutal, and was, to me, too much. I think I enjoyed, many people love this match. I think I enjoyed their previous interactions more than I enjoyed this one. I think the Texas Death Match was more my speed. I'm just an old man about this shit. I'm an old man about this stuff. The cinder block being used as a place to put people down. To be fair, gimmicked to hell chair that went and was thrown. There was a spot I'm not going to talk about because I don't want to. That was fucked. There was a completely fucked spot. There was a completely unnecessary gimmick in that match that just I don't want to talk about. That was too much for me. The thing I like most about it is that Hangman won, but because it was an unsanctioned match, it does not go in the record books. Yes, there was some CZW type shit, which Swerve was a guy in. Did spend some time in there. It was fucked up. The best part of that match is as it ended, and Swerve has medical attention. Hangman leaves and walks up the ramp, and the announcers made it seem like Hangman Adam Page at the top of the ramp decided, I'm not done fucking with this guy, and starts to walk back, and then decides he's not going to do it, and he leaves. And the announcers think that's what happened. But I don't think that's what happened. I think adrenaline wore off, character-wise. I'm talking character-wise. Adrenaline wore off. And Hangman Adam Page realized, I fucking hurt this man. I hurt this man a lot. And he went to go check on him. But the crowd response, because Hangman Adam Page has always been very in tune, as a character, always in tune with the crowd. The crowd's response was like, oh God, he's going to kill him. And in that moment, Hangman Adam Page, who has been fueled by rage, he has been fueled by, in his mind, vengeance. In that moment, Hangman Adam Page realized, I'm the bad guy. He didn't think he was the bad guy. Hangman, who was beloved, who became a babyface, did shit to Hangman Adam Page. And then Hangman was unable to defeat Swerve. Swerve beat him twice in a row. And Hangman had no answer to that. And then suddenly this opportunity arose, and he took it, and he made it happen by being incredibly violent. And now my interpretation was he's just realized that he's gone too far and he went too far. And like, yeah, the response from the crowd as he went to go instinctively check on the man that he brutalized was met with like a gasp from the crowd. And he recognized, oh yeah, I can't do that. I don't get to do that. And that was very effective. It does mirror a cage match, an incredibly bloody cage match with a character that Hangman is clearly based on, Magnum TA. There's a lot of Stan Hansen and Magnum TA in this incarnation of Hangman Adam Page. Stan Hansen had a brutal fight like that. Not Stan Hansen, I should say. Magnum TA had a brutal fight like that did also end with him recognizing that he did not like what that match had made him. And I think we're seeing a little bit of that with Hangman. Swerve Strickland in non-kayfabe is taking some time off. That was part of the agreement when he re-signed his contract, was that he would get some time off. This writes him off TV. This also writes MJF off TV because he is working on a movie, apparently. We may see Samoa Joe back soon, although Samoa Joe shaved his head for shooting scenes to be in the that fucking TV show, second season of the TV show. I can't remember the name of offhand based on the video game. That'll be, someone in chat will remind me what that's called. Twisted Metal. I reminded myself. Twisted Metal. He's in that, and he had to shave his head for it. Apparently, at signings, people saw him with his shaved head, and they were confused. But that's why. So we might have to wait for Joe to grow his hair back, because I think shooting on that is done. So yeah, my overall thoughts. I think I liked the spectacle at All Out. I think or All In, I should say. I think there were more matches at All In that I appreciated. Even if I did not love the main event and it's the actual real main event and its depravity, I respect AEW for going that far. Again, there was a moment in there that I just cannot stomach. There were I don't like light tubes anymore because in my time of going to hardcore matches and hardcore events in New York, when I was, first really getting deep into indie wrestling scene, I inhaled a lot of the bad dust from light tubes. So I don't love that. There were light tubes in the street fight. I was like, no, where'd that come from? Why is there a light tube here? I hate them. But yeah, very, very fucking violent thing. Oh, here's one thing I didn't say in that hardcore nonsense cage match. Staple guns came out instantly. They were stapling each other. Staplers, I say, not, like this kind of staple gun, not the like little desk stapler, but not like a staple gun, like a nail gun. Staplers were used, and at one point, Swerve stapled photographs of his family photographs to Hangman's face. And then Hangman, at one point, tried to stab Swerve with a piece of burnt wood from Swerve's childhood home, which on Wednesday, Hangman burned to the ground. It was a fucking lot. That match was a goddamn lot. A lot of shit happening in that match. Jesus fucking Christ. A lot happened in that goddamn match. I'm going to finish paneling this after the pause for the cause. We'll take a quick break here, talk about ways you can support the channel. Then we'll talk about some anime that I watched, neither of which was as gory or messed up as All Out. weirder. One of the shows is weirder than All Out, but it's definitely not as violent or nasty as All Out. So we'll talk about that in the second hour. Right now, we'll go to the intro screen here. What's up right now, Pat? What's going on? This is the Pause for the Cause. This is my opportunity to talk to you about ways you can support what I do here. Everything I'm about to tell you is optional. You are under no obligation to do any of these things, but if you would like to, that would be great. I would love it. If you are currently a subscriber to the Build with Bear workshop, you can throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe, the Tier 2 Blue emote in chat. Being a subscriber is the easiest way being a subscriber is the easiest way to support what I do here through Cash Money or your Prime Gaming token. You can be like Vash or Lord Crashington, who renewed their subs here. If you want to become a subscriber, if you want to do it through your Prime Gaming token, you can, please do that. Reminder that it is September. Do you remember the 9th of September? That's right now. It's September, which means that you can, if you are a new subscriber, you can save 25% off subscriptions. You could also gift a sub. If you want to be on the gift sub leaderboard, you can do that. Bits and coins, also appreciated. You can join that if you wanted to. These are things you could do, but you're under no obligation to do them. But if you would like to, I love it. What was that? Sorry, there's one thing. Okay. Let's see. There are many ways to support what I do here. Outside of that, that's the easiest way because you're already here on Twitch. If you would like to back me on Patreon, you can join my Patreon at patreon.com/PatBear. There's a $1, $3, $5, and $10 tier. There are different rewards for the different tiers. Consider joining me on Patreon if you would like to. That would be great. My patrons, my $3, $5, and $10 patrons decided that tomorrow I'm going to do some tier maker lists. That's what the stream is going to be. It's going to be doing a bunch of lists on tier maker. So that should be fun. You should come check that out. That'll be a good time. Let's see. I have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/PatBear. Over at my YouTube channel, you can subscribe for free, of course, but if you want to become a member there for just $2 a month, you can support me on YouTube. And over there for that $2, you get my Wednesday videos on Tuesday. So tomorrow, you'll know the next show that I've been talking about in my ongoing video series called Kuma Baer. I've been doing all year. You can find out what is one of my second favorite isekai. Not my second favorite, but one of my favorite isekai. Because that's Isekai month for Kuma Baer. More on that later. Those are monthly ways to support me. If you want to do a one-time donation, you can do it through my Ko-Fi or my PayPal. Do a direct donation. Everything I make through direct donations through YouTube, which includes AdSense. So watching my videos helps me out. Through Patreon and through Twitch, all goes into a fund. And from that fund, I buy model kits. The kit that I'm currently working on right now, the full armor 7th Gundam. I was able to pick that kit up because of the past use generosity. So thank you very much for everybody that has been a subscriber recently. You were able to help me pick up some kits, and that's one of them. Sorry, I just noticed. Let's see here. Great. I'm sorry, I was just checking my AdSense because I haven't checked this month, and my AdSense have been updated, which is great. And yeah, I'm now at... I'm at $16 right now, which is not close, but it's something. So happy about that. Oh, actually, it hasn't been updated in a little bit here, so I should actually see the update soon. But yeah, I'm making a little bit of money every couple months, get a little more money in there, and then eventually I'll get $100 and I can take money out, and then I'll buy model kits. So this kit that I'm working on right now, the 7th Gundam, that was purchased by me, put in my backlog, and then I'm building it. The kit that I built before that, the Zaku 3, which we finished up tonight, the Zaku 3 was bought by off my Amazon wish list. Thank you again to Chris. If you would like to buy something from my wish list, I'll include the link here in the chat. Everything bought off my wish list jumps the queue. It becomes the next thing that I build. And it gets a dedicated YouTube video about said thing. Like a little unboxing video in a way. I have Lego sets. I got model kits. I have inexpensive kits. I have expensive kits. I have kits that never seem to be on sale. Kits that are on sale all the time. If you see something on the list you'd like to see me put together, you could certainly buy it. You're obviously under no obligation to do that thing, but if you would like to, that would be rad. And they range from pretty inexpensive, something that could build during a stream, if not the full stream, or something that would take several weeks of build, up to like stuff that's like a lot of work to put together. And there's some gear at the bottom because it's nice having some options in case you want to support me, but you don't know model kits or particularly want to learn about them. That's a way to support me if you want to. I have an alternative to Amazon. I have a Throne wish list. Check out that Throne wish list. See if there's something there you'd like to pick up to support me. And of course, the most convoluted way to support me is to go to USA Gundam Store. You buy a gift card at USA Gundam Store. They send you an email with that gift card code. Then you copy and paste that gift card code to me in a whisper here on Twitch or a DM on Twitter or Blue Sky or Mastodon. I would say don't send it through co-host, which is why I don't ask people to send things through co-host because that's going to be done soon, unfortunately. Yeah, co-host. Read only October 1st, closed fully by the end of the year. Unfortunately, that's a cool website. It was a good Tumblr alternative, not a social media alternative, not like a Twitter alternative, but like a Tumblr alternative. It's pretty good. It's gone. If you want to support me and not spend any money, you can go to my Discord. I post build photos at the end of every stream. People post stuff they're working on. My Discord is cool, and we'd love to have you hang out there on the Discord. Come hang out. A couple of video links for you to check out. Pat Bear's Anime Club. The most current episode is still me talking about the worst anime filler. I talk about an episode of an anime where a mech version of the main character shows up and it sucks. Do I wish that episode whipped ass? Yes, I do. Does it whip ass? No, it does not. I talk about some other stuff too. I get mad about a thing and disappointed in some things. It's a mix. There's a lot of different ways to be fucking awful, unfortunately. And then Kuma Baer is my weekly anime recommendation series. I will have a new episode out for that on Wednesday. The most recent one is me talking about Kuma Baer. That's right, an anime called Bear, about a girl that gets transferred, we don't quite know, into a video game-like world where she is an adventurer in a bear costume that fights with summoned bears. And a lot of young ladies think that she is rad. She's got a lot of little sisters. And she just goes around doing her thing and doing her business and helping people out and being incredibly overpowered. It's very good. Kuma Baer is a real one. And so I talked about it on Kuma Baer, my weekly anime recommendation series. So watch my 60-second endorsement of that anime. All right. The next thing we're going to talk about is some anime that I'm watching. We'll do a deepish dive on my dear friend Nokotan, and then we're going to go through episode 10 of Dahlia in Bloom. As we get towards the end of this season, I'm going to be talking about the shows one episode at a time. I've been kind of doing it like 2 by 2, but we'll just do that. Also, I haven't run out of anime or manga to recommend, but I'm getting a little low on manga. So Manga Thursdays, I think, will be a day. Yeah, Manga Thursdays, I think, will probably be the day we'll do that. Or Manga Saturday. I haven't decided yet. But either way, we're going to talk about some anime. Before I talk about this anime, I have to drink some water. I am in need of that water. And then we'll dramatically transition back to the overhead right now. Before I get into talking about the anime that I want to talk about, I'm going to use the translation app on my phone, and I am going to read the words that are here. There's a symbol. There's some kind of explanation here that I don't understand that I'm going to try to translate here. Okay. Seal is sticker. Long. All right. So okay. That's what that means. The stickers, the head stickers that are on the front and the back are not perfect squares. They're trapezoids, and the shorter end is going to be on the top. That's a reasonable thing for me. I understand what that's saying. I get that. I understand that. Oh man, this is looking dark. One of these, I gotta figure this out. I might be able to adjust the white balance on the camera. That might help things out. One of my light bulbs might be dimming, and I might need replacement, and that might brighten things up. But I'm just noticing that on camera it's a lot darker than it is for me in person. So I gotta work on that. I don't need it to be this dark. Oh wow. Okay, so part of it apparently is some sort of auto balancing is happening, which shouldn't be, where everything gets darker when I put white on there and then brightens up, and then yeah, okay. So that's a problem. I have to figure out why that's happening, because my hands are going to be on camera. All right, so I got to identify that. I got to figure out why that is happening, because that's weird. Cool. That's a fun project for me. Anyway, let me talk to you about anime. Come on, Nightbot. Don't. There you go. Episode 10 of My Dear Friend Nokotan. Okay, so this episode, Koshi arrives at the Deer Club club room. We are not going to deal with the episode 9 stuff about people finding out that she used to be a delinquent. Apparently, we're not dealing with any of that. The narrator is like, hey, it's spring. And we're like, okay, so it's spring. Some time has passed. And apparently, Nokotan is crying. Oh no, what's going on with Nokotan? Well, she feels bad and she's sneezing all the time. She's not crying because she's sad. She's crying because of allergies. And Nokotan's like, I don't have any allergies. What are you talking about? I don't know why Nokotan was so defensive about this, but she was. We see Neko, Kinu, and Chikaru, who are the other members of the student council. And you may remember that Neko wants to... Oh, I should make this clear. Neko is her name. She is not a cat girl. She's not part cat. Her name is just Neko. Anyway, Neko is like... She wants to disband the Deer Club because she is jealous of all the attention that Koshi gets. Like the wafers. Yeah, well, Neko, N-E-K-O is cat in Japanese. Neko. But not Neko, N-E-C-O, all capitals, Lord Washington. Not Neko wafers. Also, apparently Neko also has the same allergies that Nokotan has. They're both freaking out and sneezing all the time. And then Nokotan gets fucking really pissed off. And she's just like, I'll break up the club if you don't believe me, which is wild and weird. They make up. They wash off the pollen, which Nokotan... And Ikoshi's like, you should try wearing glasses because that will protect your eyes from pollen and stuff. Nokotan leaves and comes back, and she's apparently been given or taken goggles from the swim team. But her antlers are still itchy and she's still sneezing. And that actually causes Nokotan to actually cry. And that crying brings in... Remember that there are CGI... Hey, Lashbrook, there are CGI actual deer like Tsunade, and other deer show up, and they head into the Deer Club to comfort Nokotan. And the plan is, Nokotan's like, I know what I need to do. I need to destroy all cedar trees. And so that's her big plan. She's going to destroy all the trees. They don't do that, which is great. They don't destroy the trees. Instead, um, uh, oh yeah, Neko also, because Neko is also having allergies. She also wants to destroy the trees. So that's her big plan. That gets thwarted. And instead, Koshi brings Neko and Nokotan to a doctor. And when I say doctor, I mean veterinarian. uh, and apparently, then eventually Koshi also suffers from the same allergies, and all three of them end up seeing a vet, even though only one of them is part animal. That was the first. There's like two main stories and then like a little third story. So that was the first story. Our second story of this episode is Koshi cannot find Nokotan. The rest of the group, Anko and Bashame, also cannot find Nokotan. Nobody can find Nokotan. And so they split up to go look for her. And Koshi discovers Nokotan with the Flower Arrangement Club. Now, you would think, because Nokotan had allergies in Story A, in Story B, this would be a part of the conflict. And you'd be wrong, because this show is weird and just strange and does not care about that. No. In this point, Nokotan is being tried to be recruited into the Flower Arrangement Club. Her big presentation to them is to arrange flowers, but she doesn't use any flowers, but they like it. And I don't know why. And they judge another one. They judge another member's attempt. And for some reason, Nokotan decides she's going to play her guitar out of nowhere. She pulls a guitar out and starts playing it. And that attracts big plant monsters to show up and try to attack one of the members of the club. And then, despite that, the leader of the club is like, please join our club. And Nokotan says no. Because, of course, Nokotan spots Koshi and they leave together. Nokotan loves the Deer Club more than any other club at school. A reminder that also in Story A, because of their argument, she was going to disband the club. But she says, no, actually, I don't want to disband the club. I love the club. And that's the end of Story B. There was a little bit more in there, but that's the gist of it. Story C from this episode. Hey, it's fucking pretty cool. We have a moment of other characters, Bashame and Anko. Because Bashame is the person that has been studying and wants to be Nokotan, and also Anko is the sister of Koshi, who is a siscon, and we haven't really dealt too much with her. She became kind of a real background character after her introduction, and she's mellowed out a lot. And in this part of the episode, she doesn't see Koshi at all, and we get to see Anko like kind of be almost a real character, and it's kind of nice to have her be able to do things and interact. And this is about rice. This is about them making rice together in the rice fields. There's a competition with Suki and Bashame, and then Anko doesn't help, but then comes out to offer moral support. They have lunch, and apparently Anko has a hobby of doing meal prep and preparing foods, not just for herself, but other people. Not fully cooking, but like putting things together and all that. And there is a moment there where Bashame and Anko kind of have a conversation about like ways to present rice, and Anko is just like, well, you should plum some what about plums in the center of like a rice ball, because that's really like people really like that. So you could pickle some plums, and then you could put those in the rice balls. And then Bashame wants to hold a party when the rice is ready and do it that way. And it's a nice, sweet little moment between the two of them. And Anko's just like, could I bring other foods to this party? And that's kind of the end of the episode. And it's nice. The moments of the rice competition were like the inadvertent rice competition were silly and over the top. But for the most part, this episode or this portion of the episode was just kind of nice and a little bit of character development for characters that have not had much to do in the show, because after they got introduced, they kind of just became part of the background, and occasionally they speak and do things, but they're not like, they don't really have much time to shine. And so it was nice to have moments where these characters could shine up a little bit. And that's this episode of my dear friend Nokotan, which has been fun, and I have enjoyed it. I know some people bounced off this show. It was too weird for them, or just not, like the weirdness was too random. And I understand that, but I'm still having a real good time with it. I'm going to put the eye stickers on first, then I'm going to put the head on here, and then I will put on the other stickers and panel line, and then I will put on this as well, the fin, after that. That's our order of operations. Fortunately, this late in the stream, I do have to apply stickers, which I am not thrilled about, but it is what it is. Sometimes you gotta. All right. That went on real easy. Love when that happens. Love when an eye sticker just goes on first attempt. Looking good. We love to see it. We do have other stickers put on here. So this is going to go on there. And then that's going to go in here. Goes. And then got to put the piece on here. That's got to go in here. Great. And the other anime that I have been watching, we will do kind of a brief overview of Dahlia in Bloom. I didn't take deep notes. I don't take deep notes on Dahlia in Bloom. This was episode 10 that aired over the weekend. And the episode 9 was Wolfred and Dahlia were hanging out. Dahlia was recovering from some accidents, injuries that resulted because of some of her research. She has been working on a bracelet that is kind of a magic deterrent bracelet. The idea is you would wear it, and then if you started using magic while you had it on, then you would be like pushed back. And so, you know, it's kind of like anti-magic cuffs in a way. All right, I gotta get 2 stickers on here that are these stickers. It's sorry, these look very similar, so I have to, that's this sticker here, so it's like I can't describe what these look like. Oh, it's these here. Okay. That's that one, and that's that one. Okay. So yeah, she's working on this bracelet, but it's kind of a failed experiment. And Wolfred at the end of episode 9 is like, I wonder what would happen if I put it on, because I don't have any magic abilities. So he tries it, and apparently the bracelet just enhances his physical abilities. He gets to get powered up from it. He can like jump higher than he's expecting to. And he's like, oh, that's pretty fucking cool. That's wild. But he's still worrying about her safety because, you know, she's inventing things and she lives alone. And she's like, well, don't worry about it. My gates are magic. They're magic items, and no one can enter unless I let them in, without my permission, unless they're coded into the gate. And he's like, well, what happens if you get injured and you can't answer the door? So she adds him to the gate so he can enter. And that's maybe going to come up in these 12 episodes. I don't know. We're past where I was in the manga, so I actually don't know. Um uh Wolfred starts trying to tutor her on noble etiquette, and there's a lovely little scene that I won't get too detailed in, but there's a fun little scene where he is trying to teach her about like phrases and stuff, and there's some double entendre that are fairly ribald and would not be great for her to say in high society. Okay, so I need to find this symbol. I don't know which one this is, but there's two stickers. There's two face stickers here on this. And they go over here, and they are that. And I don't see that sticker yet. It's this one. Oh, okay. It's this one here. Sorry, here. Okay, it's this sticker. Like that. Oh. Okay. Put that on there. All right. Sorry, I got quiet there. I will have more to say on that. Okay. I'm going to see if I did this right by making this image large and looking at it here. Let's look in the face. Okay. So that's not, yeah, that goes back there. And it's not, yeah, it's right on the top. Okay. Doesn't really matter, but it didn't quite make sense to me. So now I know where that goes. Okay, so they do the etiquette thing. That doesn't happen. In conversation, Dahlia is inspired because you may remember that she made socks that don't get as wet. She made some special socks based on her memories of being on Earth for the knights, because they keep dealing with stuff and athlete's foot and lots of other problems with that. So she comes up with something that might help them. But she's inspired to work on boots that like self-dry or have a drying mechanic to them where the leather doesn't get ruined. And or a way to dry, a device to dry the shoes, I should say. It's not self-drying, but it's a device to dry them without ruining the leather, because knights are dealing with all of that. And instead of having to like go to suppliers and deal with all that and having that, she's going to register the work, and she's going to go through her employee. What's his name? Ivano. Ivano was the guy that realized, oh wow, in negotiations with the guild, I favored her too much, and he quits the guild job to go and work for her new company, which was awesome. And he's like, just be careful, okay? I know you've been working on that magic sword. Don't let the word get out about that, because that would really change. If magical swords could be manufactured, like mass produced, it would change a lot of countries' military, and you just don't want to get involved in that. So just be careful, which is good advice. While she's talking to people, she talks to Gabriella, who is the woman that is high up in the guild that has kind of taken a shine to her and is also helping her out because of a favor that she owes to Dahlia's departed father, Carlo. And Dahlia's just like, could you forgive whatever debt you have to, or my father has, that's helping you? And she's just like, well, it's not monetary. It's just a favor. And I'm going to hold on to it. And as long as I can help you, I'm going to help you. And there apparently, we've already met several people who have had the same situation. Apparently, Carlo, when he helped people out and they wanted to repay him, he responded, someday my daughter might need help. And if she does, please help her. Which is because he knew that he didn't have as much time as he would have liked. So Uh, that was lovely. And then we find out that Wolfred's superiors want to meet Dahlia, and they want her to come to the palace for a gathering. And that means that she's probably going to meet royalty. So Gabriella jumps into action to prepare a dress for Dahlia and to work on more etiquette lessons and get her hair and makeup looking right, because she's going to hit the high society. And it's a good thing that Dahlia has some help in that regard. And that's episode 10. And I thought that was a great little episode. Like I said, there was a lot of good stuff going on there. Just kind of an overview. There's some small details I left out. This may be the second time I've ever mentioned one of the people that technically works for her, because we don't see a lot with them. But there was like a little moment in a previous episode, but I didn't really get into it because it doesn't really matter. But yeah, slow build romance here. We're going to see more of it. One would assume that the dealing with nobility may bring some conflict and may bring Wolfred and Dahlia a little closer. But again, I don't know, because this is now past where I have read in the manga. So I'm not sure where we're going with it. But I am interested in the journey. We have finished the head of this kit. That's great. Now, we found this on occasion. Normally, chest or head is the first thing, and then you do the other second. And then you move to like the shoulders or the arms. Sometimes you can do them all at the same time. Sometimes you do all of one and all of the other. But every once in a while, a model kit is just like, now build the weapons. And that's what this kit is asking me to do. It's asking me to build the gun and the shield. There's no arms to hold them. But we're going to do that. And I don't know why. But we are, because we'll follow that along. Sometimes I skip ahead. Sometimes I stick to what I got to do. The nice thing is that neither of these require stickers, which is great. There is a little bit of text here that I want to translate on my phone. And now what I would also like to happen is I would like you, the people in chat, please let me know. What are you watching right now? What are you playing? It's your time to shine. Let me know in the comments, in the chat. Pay attention to direction. Okay. Let me know if you're working on anything, you building anything, you've been watching any TV, go to the movies. Did you watch some wrestling this weekend? Like, what are you up to? What are you into? If you got stuff you're looking forward to, you can always let me know. I like hearing it. If you're like, well, Pat, I haven't been playing games because this game is coming out and I'm pre-ordered Space Marine 2 and I can't wait to play that. Like, I always like to hear from you about these things, so please let me know in the chat, not comments. Keep saying the comments. In the chat, let me know what you got going on, because I like that. I like knowing what you're up to. While I'll let for you, I have a deck in Hearthstone that I like a lot. It's an egg deck. Basically, it's a death rattle hunter deck where I'm trying to discount the price of beasts and copies of beasts so that I can then make big beasts that have a death rattle that shoot as much attack as that beast has to the enemies, and then you trigger that, and it does a bunch of damage, and you can win fairly quickly against other bullshit decks. And you kind of win out of nowhere. When it works, it's great. When it doesn't work, it's fine. So I've been playing that deck, just trying to like eke out some wins in Hearthstone, and mostly just playing that. I did a little Helldivers 2 yesterday afternoon. Got some stuff in with some people, making that work. That's been fun still. My multiplayer crew is still waiting for Marvel. That is the game that we seem to be most anticipating among all of us, is to play some Marvel Rivals. When that comes out, I am looking forward to that because I think that will be fun with friends, with my crew. Yeah, the one person, I guess I should give an update. The person in my group who was really pushing for us to play Concord did say hey, I'm glad that people didn't listen to me and that no one else except me bought Concord. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm glad you said that. Because he really was pushing. He was like, it's fun. I think we'll like it. It's got a lot of the, I, I will say he did try the look. Even if you don't love it right now, it could get better. They could be adding stuff to it. It was just like, oh, yeah, nope, guess not. I mean, how was he to know that it would be so short lived? There was no way for him to know that it would be there would be so few times that he actually played it. But yes, we did not bite on that, and I am glad we didn't because it did not last. Lastbrook says, I did watch All Out Saturday, which was about 50-50 on in any of the matches hit for me. The main event was wild. Yes, it was. It was wild. Then I watched the 10th Mystery Wrestling Sunday show, which also had a main event where they tried to murder each other. Yes. It was literally death match where the only way to win was actually kill your opponent. Yes. It's wild that Evil Uno was like, hey, here's a cool, fun wrestling show for you to watch, because Uno seemingly, apparently, rarely knows the content of the matches that are going to happen. Part of the mystery is also that Uno doesn't fucking know what's going on. So he said that, and it turned out to not be true. Because that show did get fucking pretty goddamn wild at parts. Which is funny. But yeah, that was definitely not his intention, I do not believe. Was to align with All In. Or All Out, I should say. But yeah, that show was fun. I didn't catch the first half hour, but I hear I didn't miss much. So I still had a good time when I did eventually catch that show. Let me panel on this. We got some time here. And then Imjan says, I've been getting ready for my trip to the land of anime. Are you heading back to Japan, Imjan? That's awesome. I hope you have a great time. Unless that's your way of saying that you're going to watch a bunch of... Okay, yes, you're going to Tokyo. I was going to say, maybe you were saying that you were going to be watching a bunch of anime, and that was you're preparing to watch a bunch of anime. But no, if you're going to Tokyo, hell yeah, have a great fucking time in Tokyo. I hope you have a great time watching some stuff, hanging out. If you find yourself walking up to the 7th floor of Shinjuku Face, you want to go see some wrestling, that's a great venue in Tokyo to go see. I have not been there myself, but I know that shit rules. So if you want to see some wrestling, some DDT or Senjo or Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling, you can just go by venue and a lot of those things. Yeah. I can't tell you exactly where wrestling is while you're gone in Japan, but not honestly, a lot of wrestling pretty fucking easy to watch, to buy tickets for and to go see. Because those companies would like your money. They would like you to come and see it. They would be happy to accommodate. If they do not have someone that speaks English right there, they will go get someone, or they will use their phones. But they would like your business. They would like you to tell your other friends, if they are traveling to Japan, to also come see them. That they would be happy to have you. And I think a DDT or Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling experience is the way to watch wrestling, because it is a lot of character based. If that is not really your thing, the spectacle is so high that I think it's like totally worth checking out. Whereas maybe like a Stardom show or a New Japan show is just really good wrestling, but it doesn't really have the characterization or anything, or the spectacle. Like every Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling show starts with 4 wrestlers now. 4 wrestlers singing a song because they're an idol group. They are not idols. They're wrestlers who do idol shit. And And like that to me is just a fun, weird spectacle of like, yeah, let's start the show with a song from the Up Up Girls. It's like, okay, yeah, hell yeah. Um, Lord Crash says I've been enjoying Astrobot, not Astro Boy, Astrobot a lot. Got to hear a weirdly sexual song sung by a character part of a level called Papa Tree. There's so much weird shit in that game for what I've been able to see. I know some people that are really loving it. That game seems fun. Yeah, hell yeah. I'm glad you're having a good time with it. Lastbrook says, I've also watched the Apple Plus Tetris movie, and I kind of hated the way they made the movie video gamey and thought it was kind of ridiculous overall. Yeah, I didn't hear a lot of great things about that. That was not well received from folks I know who watched it. I have not seen it. I don't have Apple Plus right now. But yeah. Yeah, that did not seem particularly cool. All right. Let me clean up this gun. I just panel lined this gun. Did I need to? Well, it's a lot of gray pieces, and I thought a lot of little, a lot of places to panel line, so I thought it would look cool. Lastbrook is asking John to pick up some of the new Nikon camera gashapon. Don't put that on John, Lashbrook. You should never be asking anyone to do gashapon. Can't get in that. Bad for the soul. You never want to encourage that. If I happen to see them, yeah. I mean, really, the thing you should be on the lookout for is places where they have the gachapon where you can just go up and it's the Nintendo keychains, the Nintendo controller keychains, because those are great looking. They look like excellent fidget spinners, basically. Not spinners, but fidget things. They're based on real controllers. And they have the nubbin from like the C-stick nubbin from the GameCube controller. Oh, real good. Some good stuff in there. Those all look incredible. I would definitely want them. I'm not going to import them, though. Somebody imported all of them and have them, and I was like, nope, that's not me. That's not what I'm going to do. You do you. I'm not going to do that. All right. And then B7. We've built a gun. Now we're going to build a shield. We don't have any way to hold these things. I don't know why we're building them now, but we are building them now. Yes, Lord Crashington. We did not talk about that this evening. That James Earl Jones passed away in his 90s. A unbelievable career, stage and screen, silver screen, the golden screen, a wide variety, a plethora of work, the voice of many's childhood, and just a complete and total pro. And yeah, he will be missed and certainly celebrated. Just an illustrious career for James Earl Jones. All right, that's our shield. We can panel line it. We got a little time left, so we can panel line that with some gray and some black. We'll do that now. Mary is not streaming tonight, having family in town, but she's hoping to make up later this week. Okay. Thank you for letting me know, Lord Crashington. We certainly, if we can, if there is a Mary not Monday this week, then we will raid Mary then, if we can. But we'll raid somebody else. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah, John, I hope you have a great time in Tokyo. I hope the two you really enjoy your time there. You have a great trip. I've never been to Japan. Would love to do it. It's certainly on the bucket list along with Australia. And Those are the two tops of my list of countries I would like to visit. Um, and also, I kind of want to. I would like to go. Like I've been to Canada, but I would like to go back to Canada, and specifically, I would like to go to the western side of Canada because I've only been on the eastern side. But I would like to. I'd like to go to Vancouver and see a bunch of stuff there. I've always thought about like at the end of a PAX trip going to Vancouver, but that just never happened for me. Only 8 days, but it's 8 days of travel and not working. Hell yeah, John. Yeah, 8 days is not a lot. 8 days is done faster than you would think, but you can still get some stuff done, and I hope you have a great time and you really enjoy it. That's rad. All right, we're done with the gray marker, and now it's for a little bit of the black marker here, and then we'll clean this up, and that'll be the end of the stream. We got some progress done here. Got the chest and the head done. Got the weapons done, and the weapon and the shield. I think there's a beam saber. Actually, there isn't a beam saber for this. If there is, it's not a colored one. So I don't know if there is a beam for this kit. I think there's just another gun that we haven't built yet. There's this gun, and then there's the shoulder-mounted gun. So I think that's what it is. I think full armor is just like, yeah, no need for a beam here. We got big guns. Pretty sure that's what we're doing here. I'm honestly gun shy after my last flight experience. Totally understand, Lashbrook. That shit can eat at you and wear at you. I have not flown in a while. I certainly will fly again. I'd like to figure out how to go to PAX East next year. I miss PAX. And if I was going to go to a PAX, I think it would be East because I really like Boston and I like getting around in Boston. Obviously, PAX West did not work out for me this year. PAX Unplugged is also great, but here's the thing. If I have to fly, right? And if I have to fly to a convention, it might as well be to Boston to do that. I've kind of like in my head envisioned a world where I flew to New York like a day early and then went to my refreshed my gear and like traded some stuff out and took some stuff from my storage unit and then took the train from New York to Boston for PAX. But also I could just see myself just straight up flying to Boston. I think that's kind of the goal. I have to figure out a good way to get someone to sponsor that. Because I would definitely need help to make that happen. So I kind of need a good reason for perhaps Reed to want that to happen, to make that happen. But I would love to go to East because it's been a long time since I've been to just a regular ass PAX. I'd love to do Pat Bear's Anime Club live and Improvised Postmortem live, and then maybe I don't know. I think it would just be that. I would not want to do League of Heels without Aaron. Because yeah, I've done it without Aaron, but that was unplugged and it was easier to do. And I also had a couple other people helping me out. Eric Canis was helping me out with video stuff and also helped me run the booth. And I wouldn't want to do it by myself now. So I probably also wouldn't want a booth. But I'll figure it out. John says, I'm very lucky with flights, only flown through a bad storm once. The worst experience I had, we're going to wrap things up here tonight. But I will say the worst experience I had flying, I was a child. And it's been uphill since then. Lightning almost struck the plane. And we flew above a hailstorm. And that was an international flight. And by the time we landed in Spain, I'd forgotten that happened. So I was probably the perfect age for that nonsense. Anyway, I'm going to wrap things up here. I want to thank everybody for joining me tonight. I hope you have a great rest of your evening. I hope you come along on a raid because we're not fucking done here. Because we do need to end things with a raid. That is how we end every stream around here. As John says, we always end with a raid. We're going to go find someone doing cool shit and spend a little time with them. I hope you will come back tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern for my second tier maker stream. We will be looking at the wonderful world of tier maker. I've got a bunch of lists. I will be picking some more tomorrow. I will have more than I need. I have like at least one or two from previous streams. So, okay, who are we gonna go hang out with? Let's see. Sorry. Arthur Geese is playing Gears 5. Let's go hang out with Arthur for some Gearsness. That'll be fun. We haven't hung out with Arthur in a little bit, so we'll go do that. I hope you'll come along on this raid with me again tomorrow. Tier Maker stream. That's going to be silly. That'll hopefully be a good time. So I hope you will come out and hang out with me for that. Let's see. Raid Arthur Geese. We're gonna hang out with Arthur. He's playing Gears of 5, not Gears of War 5. I think it's just called Gears 5. But we'll go hang out with Arthur. Thank you all so much for joining me tonight. I hope to see you tomorrow. I hope to see you maybe on Thursday as I continue working on this good model kit. You've been great. Thanks for being in chat. If you didn't chat and you just lurked, also thanks for that. I'll see you soon. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.